8:45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is the news, edited by Lal Malvarachi and read by Indrani Senanayake. The headlines. The Health Minister emphasized that citizens should properly fulfill their duties and responsibilities while the health sector provides maximum service to control COVID. Minister of Industries and Central Bank Governor focused their attention on the difficulties in providing raw materials needed for the local industry. Minister G.L. Pires says that several rounds of discussions important to Sri Lanka were conducted during the President's US tour and the Prime Minister's tour of Italy. Doctors request youth to get the vaccines without being misled by myths. 715 new COVID cases reported in the country so far today. In foreign news, Germany centre-left claim narrow win over Merkel's party. In sports news, England all-rounder Moeen Ali announces his retirement from Test cricket. Minister of Health Kehelia Rambukwella says that the national vaccination program against COVID-19 is being carried out successfully and efficiently island-wide. The virus is now very successfully under control and the current situation has changed for the better to some extent. The minister made these comments when he met British High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, Sarah Walton, and some other UN representatives in Colombo today. They donated a stock of material equipment to the Health Ministry. Speaking further, the Minister of Health, Kehelia Rambukwella, said that Sri Lanka is among the top 10 countries in the world in terms of providing both doses of the vaccine for those over the age of 30. Vaccination of children between the ages of 12 to 19 with various complications has already commenced. He calls on the people to follow the health guidelines properly. He added that by doing so, the virus can be controlled successfully, winning the battle against the pandemic. The minister emphasized that citizens should properly fulfill their duties and responsibilities while the health sector provides maximum service to control COVID. Minister of Industries Vimal Weerawangsa met Central Bank Governor Ajit Niwad Cabral at the bank today. They focused their attention on the difficulties in providing the raw materials needed for the local industry due to the current restrictions in place. The central bank governor assured the minister that necessary steps will be taken to remedy the situation. Meanwhile, the governor revealed that international investment banks have been told that Sri Lanka is willing to settle the debt maturing in January ahead of time. He further stated that a roadmap outlining the work of the central bank and what the government will do is expected to be unveiled on the 1st of October. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. We continue with local news. The Ministry of Health says that another 715 persons were tested positive for COVID-19 so far today. This brings the total number of coronavirus cases confirmed in the country to 514,324. Over 46,000 infected patients are currently under medical care and home-based care, while Sri Lanka's total recoveries reached 455,344. Meanwhile, the death toll due to the virus pandemic has risen to 12,731. The Sri Lanka Airports and Aviation Company says that the collection of test samples at Sri Lanka's largest PCR testing facility at the Katunayake Airport premises has not been halted. There were some news reports that the operations have been halted at this facility owing to several technical difficulties. Vice Chairman of the Airport and Aviation Company, Rajiv Suryarchi, said that test samples of local and foreign nationals are collected at the airport itself and sent to the facility for laboratory procedures, and reports are issued within 3 hours. Professor Manju Veerasinghe of the Colombo Medical College has requested the youth to get the vaccine without being misled by the myths publicized by the groups against the vaccination with commercial aims. He said that there is no scientific basis on the statements that impotency and infertility occur due to the vaccines. Professor Veerasinghe pointed out that taking measures wisely without getting caught on such myths will protect the individuals as well as the country. Deaths of persons above 60 years have reduced due to the vaccine. Professor Veerasinghe requested the people not to disrupt the vaccination program in order to protect the lives of youth. Next, we take a look at the main news story.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Vidamahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Foreign Minister G.L. Peiris says that several rounds of discussions important to Sri Lanka were conducted during the President's US tour and the Prime Minister's tour of Italy. He said that a significant theme of discussions were the actions of the Human Rights Commission on Sri Lanka. During a media briefing today, the minister said that the government's stance was clearly explained to them. He said that the UN Human Rights Council explained in detail about the developments and reconciliation amid the COVID challenges. That was the main news story. Watchlight is next.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya. Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
And now in Watchlight.
Additional Secretary to the State Ministry of Primary Health Services, Dr. Lal Pandapitiya says that certain COVID patients can now show symptoms of nerve and heart diseases after recovering from the virus. He said that such persons should immediately seek medical advice and seek treatment. This is for the attention of the patients who have recovered from the COVID infection. That was Watchlight. A bulletin of world news will follow.
World News.
The headlines. Germany. Centre-left claims narrow win over Merkel's party. Australia PM undecided on attending COP26 crucial climate summit. Power cuts hit homes in northeast China. Germany's centre-left Social Democrats, SPD, have claimed a victory in the federal election, telling the party of outgoing Chancellor Angela Merkel it should no longer be in power. SPD leader Olaf Scholz said he had a clear mandate to form a government, while his conservative rival Armin Laschet remains determined to fight on. The two parties have governed together for years, but Mr. Scholz says it is time for a new coalition with Greens and Liberals. Australia's Prime Minister has signalled he may not attend the UN's landmark climate conference in November as his government faces continued criticism of its poor climate record. In an interview, Scott Morrison said he had not made any final decisions on attending, suggesting it was a burden. It's another trip overseas, and I've spent a lot of time in quarantine, he told the West Australian newspaper. The COP26 summit will be the biggest global climate crisis talks in years. Residents in northeast China are experiencing unannounced power cuts as an electricity shortage, which initially hit factories, spread to homes. People living in Liaoning, Jiling and Heilongjiang provinces have complained on social media about the lack of heating and lifts and traffic lights not working. Local media said the cause was a rise in coal prices, leading to short supply. The country is highly dependent on coal for power. To end this bulletin of world news, the headlines again. Germany centre-left claims narrow win over Merkel's party. Australia PM undecided on attending COP26 crucial climate summit. Power cuts hit homes in northeast China. That ends this bulletin of world news. Development news is up next. Minister Johnson Fernando says that he has instructed the Highways Ministry Secretary and Director of the project to conduct an alternative road from Warakapola parallel to the Colombo Kandy Road. The alternative road will be constructed on the south side of the Colombo Kandy Road from Warakapola. Minister Fernando said the government has completed acquiring lands for the project and 98% of the compensation has already been paid. The construction is aimed at reducing congestion in Warakapola and Ambepussa along the Colombo Kandy Main Road due to the unavailability of an alternative road. That was development news. A look at sports news next.
Sports news.
England all-rounder Moeen Ali has announced his retirement from Test cricket but will continue to play in limited over internationals. Moeen, 34, scored 2,914 runs and took 195 wickets in 64 tests, having made his debut against Sri Lanka in 2014. He won the 50-over World Cup in 2019 and is in England's preliminary squad for this year's T20 World Cup. The left-handed batsman and off-spinner hit 5 centuries and took 5 wicket hauls in tests, finishing with a batting average of 28.29 and a bowling average of 36.66. That was a look at sports news. Next is business news.
A safe, easy and versatile app for all your banking needs. NSB Pay for monetary transactions, bill payments, reloads, credit card payments and Lanka QR transactions. A range of facilities with multiple account registrations. Access to your bank needs wherever you are. Download the NSB Pay app from the Play Store or the App Store for free now. For more information, call your nearest NSB branch or 0112-379-379. Conditions apply.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Sri Lanka's bond markets were quiet ahead of the first auction without price controls for many months, while speculation rose that the country will follow Zimbabwe into a forex surrender hike. 10 billion rupees of a bond maturing on the 15th of November 2023 and 10 billion rupees of a bond maturing in 2030 will be offered tomorrow. Price controls have been lifted on the auction. That was business news. Economic news is next.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
A safe, easy and versatile app for all your banking needs. NSB Pay for monetary transactions, bill payments, reloads, credit card payments and Lanka QR transactions. A range of facilities with multiple account registrations. Access to your bank needs wherever you are.
The government is in talks for a credit line for dairy products from New Zealand, Treasury Secretary Sajid Artigala said, as the country faced forex shortages and struggled to maintain an unblemished record on foreign debt repayments. The credit lines will be facilitated at government-to-government level, but the importing and exporting firms will enter into the contracts, he said. Sri Lanka spends about $300 million a year on dairy products, he said. That was economic news. And finally, a look at the weather report.
Weather report.
The Met Department says showers or thunder showers will occur at times in the western, Sabaragamuwa, central and northwestern provinces and in the Galle and Matara districts. Fairly heavy showers, above 50 millimeters, can be expected at some places in the Sabaragamuwa province and in the Kandy, Nuwara, Kalutara, Galle and the Matara districts. Showers or thunder showers may occur at a few places in the Uva province in the evening or at night. That was the weather report. To end tonight's news broadcast, we take a look at the headlines again. The Health Minister emphasised that citizens should properly fulfil their duties and responsibilities while the health sector provides maximum service to control COVID. Minister of Industries and Central Bank Governor focused their attention on the difficulties in providing raw materials needed for the local industry. Minister G.L. Peris says that several rounds of discussions important to Sri Lanka were conducted during the President's US tour and the Prime Minister's tour of Italy. Doctors request the youth to get the vaccines without being misled by myths. 715 new COVID cases reported in the country so far today. In foreign news, Germany centre-left claim narrow win over Merkel's party. And in sports news, England all-rounder Moeen Ali announces his retirement for Test cricket. That ends tonight's news broadcast. Over to Soundhi Thavam. It's good night from me, Indrani.